Shalto Schoeman, thank you very much for joining us on the Fortis Impact Talk. How's it going?
Fine and you. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for Dion for considering me or the EDA Weapons Division as one of the best in South Africa. It's a true honor. Thank you for you guys.
We are very happy to have you. Shalto,
Thanks so
tell us a
much.
little bit about yourself. Tell us about your background. How did it start for you?
Well, I was born in Benoni. I think that actually says everything about me. But yeah, I started there with a little bit of boxing, and then we basically moved to Heidelberg, where there was no boxing club here. So we started with karate, JKA karate. And that's basically where the martial arts started, the passion started for me. Um, got my provincial colors in it, went full on for the essays, got the essay colors. And then, we started training Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, we'll go out to the local pubs and get into a street fight. It sounds a little bit tepid, but we wanted to test what we could do, and went to varsity. It didn't stop there. So yeah, I got into a lot of fights, got a lot of experience, and I won't say the complex or the estate that we moved into, but within the first week or two, there was a murder there, and 4 days after that, there was a rape there. So we got a committee together. Just by luck, I was the guy that spoke the most, and got into a job there, and became the security director. You know, and then after that, it sort of just spiraled into the reservists, where I've got a lot of experience. We were sort of in a little bit of a tactical team where we went into the shebeens, where they sold illegal liquor, prostitution, and drugs. And where the knife thing got in, where I got interested in knife fighting, or how the blade works, is I got stabbed in the bulletproof. Later years, after that, I think I met Nigel February in 2017. Started Krav Maga, okay, because I needed something more to defend me on the streets. Karate just wasn't good enough. Karate was for self-defense. Not that I'm saying Krav Maga isn't, but I needed something more. I needed knife disarms and gun disarms and stuff like that. And went into the arts, but I was always looking for something more in terms of the blade. Looked into Filipino martial arts, but at that stage, yeah, it was sort of getting there, but they didn't move the way that a South African criminal moves with a knife. And in 2017, Jacques Alberts, the head of 183 Tactical, got Nigel February out from Cape Town. And that's actually where I saw for the first time that these guys move the same way as those criminals on the street. So that's where the passion started, and that's when I started pursuing or studying Piper.
Right. So tell us about the South African knife culture. I want to get it all out there because there's a lot of misconceptions about knives, what kind of knives to have, what are you going to get attacked with, and what is a good countermeasure?
Okay. Thank you for that question. So the South African knife culture. And I can draw on my own experience. So we went into Filipino martial arts where they've got the cross entry where the guy throws a hook at you and you cut his arm, and from there you sweep it away and you cut his neck and stuff like that. That's fine. It's their culture. Okay. My point being this. We know everything as South Africans, and I'm generalizing, so forgive me, allow me a little bit of attitude. But we generalize how a knife fight should work. Okay, we know everything about the Navy SEALs. We know everything about the SAS. We know everything about the IDF. But we know nothing about our own criminal and how our criminals are going to attack us. Okay, there's nothing out there like a knife fight. Okay, in South Africa, if a guy pulls a knife and he stabs you, you're going to die. Okay, in my personal opinion, if a guy pulls a knife, there's no disarm. It happens very quickly. Okay. Um, Most of the guys or my students also ask me, should it be a fixed blade? Should it be a folder? Should it be a push dagger? And I say none of it. Okay, because the knife culture, it happens here in your brain. The killer is switched on in your brain, and the knife is the darkest weapon of them all. If you're able to stab somebody, you're gonna stab him. You're gonna feel the life or see the life come out of him. Okay, and you're gonna smell everything, the blood. You're gonna see everything. It's very gruesome and brutal. When I shoot somebody, the guy falls over there. So a lot of people don't understand that. And when you get attacked by a knife, there's lots of intent and brutality behind that. And most of the time, you're not going to be attacked with a Spyderco or a CRKT or cold steel. It's going to be, I don't know if you can see this, but it's going to be the Okapi. Okay, and the reason why it's going to be the Okapi is it's cheap. It's R100 knife. It's very accessible in the townships. Guys in prisons, sharpen a toothbrush and stab you with it. Okay, so yeah, it's not going to be a R3,500 knife. It's going to be something cheap like this, and they're going to expose or get rid of the blade. So it's very real and it's very dangerous. I consider South African blade work or blade craft one of the dangerous arts in the world. And we go to the Filipinos to get answers, and we look at the Navy SEALs for answers. I think the answer is in South Africa. So the other thing is, when you look at the Okapi, okay, they're going to throw it away. But in prison, this is just a trainer. I don't know if you can see that, but that's fine. The thing that I want to focus on is the battle ring. Okay, so when they actually stab you, okay, it's like 3 stabs or 1 stab. It doesn't matter. But your blade gets full of blood. Okay, and they'll actually switch and wipe their hand and stab you again, and then I'll switch with it. So what the battle ring is for is putting your finger through there so it doesn't slip. Okay, so they're gonna stab you, get hold of you, and then stab you, and it's very quick. They'll go for the eyes. It's a shimmer. They call this a shimmer, and the reason I know so much about it is because I'm one of Nigel February's guardians, and it's a quite a high rank in the knife fighting culture. So that's how I know. So it's going to be a shimmer. It's going to go for the eyes, and it's going to be very quick. It's something like that. They'll do a twirl, and then they'll stab you, and then they'll grab hold of you and go for the kidneys or go for the back of the head, the lungs. And sometimes they'll go straight into the heart. Actually, that's their favorite way of stabbing. They'll do a shimmer, go straight into the heart, and you'll die within 10 seconds. So
No,
there's not going to be. Say again.
sorry. Yeah, that's just what I was thinking now. How do you survive something like that? Because this culture that you're talking about, this has been passed down from generation to generation, and the skill behind it is quite admirable.
Yeah. You see, the whole thing is, and it's actually very interesting when you sit with Nigel and a Piper Guardian. They'll give you the truth. Like our culture, I take my son to the range. I teach him how to shoot. In their culture, in the Cape Flats, you'll get an okapi, and the father will say, "Well, go play with it." It's a survival tool. So they grow up with this, a way of thinking and surviving. So yeah, it's very brutal, and it's nothing. It's not a thing to play with. So yeah. So the whole point that I want to make is, if you go to a martial artist instructor, and he says, this is the way to fight, look at how he's holding the knife. The saber grip like this. The South African people don't fight with like this. They don't have the blade up. They're not gonna slash. And the reason why they won't slash is because you've got clothing on, you've got a jacket on. If you slash, that will basically stop the slash going through or penetrating, or full penetration of the arm. When you stab, that goes straight through your jacket, in through your shirt, and it will penetrate your heart and penetrate the vitals. And if you study, the medical side of things, and if you study when patients go in to the hospital and die of stab wounds, die of a knife fight, it's a stab wound. It's not a cut. 100%, I think you will survive a cut. You will not survive a stab. So it's brutal. And that's the truth. And it's not a drill. It's not a dance. It's fast. It's basically that end stabbing, and then they grab you and they keep on stabbing till you fall, and then they expose of the blade. They throw it away.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you guys go into these situations, how do you prepare yourself if you know you're going to encounter something like someone with a knife
Well,
like that and those kinds of
it's the
skills?
whole way. There's a certain way of them, how they move. They'll go into the sort of the shoulders will come forward, and it's not in the eyes and it's not in the hands. They will actually play with you and say, everything is 100%, but when they go down, the shoulders come forward. It's a predator nature. They go in, and from there they'll do a burst, and from there it's over. It's over in a couple of seconds, really. I can't actually show you the whole posture, because we're on Skype, but yeah, it's how they move. You'll pick it up, and you need to be experienced in this. You need to be on the streets, in the shebeens, where they actually are knife fighting, and that's their culture. The other way of what they also do is they would have the okapi, and then they'll wrap something around their fist to keep the blade there. If they stabbing and the blade gets soaked with blood, it keeps the hand in that position, and they'll just keep on stabbing. So yeah, South Africa has got one of the most brutal knife fighting cultures that I know, and we keep on going to different places, for the answer, and the answer is yeah, with the Piper system, in my opinion.
And tell us a little bit about the Piper system.
It's a prison system. It comes out of the guys in the prison. That's how they would stab you. It comes out of the Cape Flats. Nigel February grew up in the Cape Flats, so that's the way they would basically stab you, and it's got a lot of intent and aggression behind that blade. It's nothing fancy. They actually, their intent is to hurt you, and their intent is to basically kill you. And people don't understand that. Teaching disarms and stuff like that. Yes, if you're caught in a corner and somebody's coming with you at a knife, you need to do something. Okay, but get something in the way, like a chair. Wrap your arm with a piece of cloth and try and defend yourself. but don't go out when somebody's pulling a knife. Don't go for the guy and try and disarm him. The best thing is to run for your life if you can.
Yes.
The Piper system, the Guardians are basically like, it's a very high rank. I think there's only 35 Piper Guardians in South Africa, and the grading is very high. It's a very high standard. There's live blade work, so going into that grading, you're going to get nicked, and you most probably going to get stabbed. But the control in that guy's blade, is phenomenal. So if he wants to nick you or just scratch you, you'll know about it. So later on, when I got stabbed in the bulletproof, one of the Piper Guardians actually told me that that was just a warning. If they wanted to stab me, I would have been dead. So they actually just warning the police, stay away from you, you're going to get hurt.
Tell me a little bit about the kind of weapons that you can maybe use to defend against a knife attacker, which we all know. Let's say you've been cornered now, and what should you have, a baton or?
Yeah, so I teach the guys stick work. It's a little bit out of fashion, but you get a expandable baton like that. What you can use with that is you can use it as a kubiton. You can hit the throat. Okay, you can do a lot of chokes with it. Okay, I can hit everywhere I hit, I still hurt. Okay, and then I can expand it, and I can actually do chokes, and I can hit over the head where you can kill a person. You can hit over the hands, forcing him to drop the knife. Hit over the forearm, causing the arm to break. But you have to be very fast. You need to see that position or that body work of the attacker, and then pull your expandable baton. To me, that's going to be the best way of defense. Don't disarm. Use another weapon to get distance between you and the attacker. Okay, and the expandable baton will also keep you away from the blade. Once you get closer to the blade, you're actually getting into more danger.
So as far away from the blade as possible.
Yeah, stay as far away from the blade as possible. Get a weapon to attack him, fight him with something. But also the reality is, once the guy has pulled the knife, and maybe we should touch on that. A South African knife attack is an assassination. The blade is already drawn before he attacks you. Weapons are made to be felt and not seen. Okay, so the attacker has already drawn the blade, and he's going to attack you now. It's his deception getting close to you. And that's what people don't understand. Nobody's going to pull a knife, and the other guy is going to pull a knife, and they're going to say, we're in a knife fight now. It's an assassination. The guy wants to kill you. The blade or the weapon is already drawn, and he's attacking you. Yeah. So you're going to have to be very fast. With the expandable baton would be the best way of doing that. When we do CPO work, close protection work, we use an expandable baton where we can do chokes and get control over the attacker. But then again, we like 5 or 6 guys, watching after our customer, so then you can actually get a sort of an advantage on your attacker. One-on-one civilian, the odds are against you. You need to look at certain ways of the body type of how this guy is going to attack you. And that's the honest truth. Everybody wants to have a sort of answer for this, but if he does that, do this.
It doesn't work like that.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work like that. On the street, I've never seen that, a successful disarm. You actually going to get stabbed. And the Krav Maga guys would also tell you that. We teach it, But that's in the last case scenario when the blade is already drawn and you've already been stabbed. You're gonna have to do something. So then we'll
Yeah.
teach that techniques, but the odds are stacked against you in reality, and that's the honest truth.
How long have you been doing this now?
Oh, being a Piper Guardian or
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the experience. Okay, so I'm fairly new. I'm a new Guardian. I'm only a Guardian now for 2 years. Um, yeah, so only for 2 years. There's a
So,
lot more experienced Guardians out there.
okay, but just to put it in perspective, let's say you were to take on one of the Guardians. Let's say just like a match. I mean, you've got your baton, and they have like a training knife. How well
Yeah.
do you do in that scenario?
It's a very difficult question because are we talking about the expandable baton already been drawn and they've also drawn their knife? And I've seen that. Um, yeah, you'll do fairly well. Once the stick is drawn, I can actually go for the hands. I can actually go for the arms and try to get that knife away from him. But the Guardians are very sneaky. Like I said, it's assassination. They'll draw the blade and they'll say nothing's wrong, man. Let's go for a beer. And all of a sudden, once they have got hold of you, they'll stab you. You know, it. The other thing is they'll draw the blade and conceal it. I don't know if you can see that, but I've actually got a blade inside my hand. And they'll do it and stab you. And play with that. So stab you there. So it's very fast. It's very quick, and that's the reality. A lot of people don't want to listen to this, because they always want an answer. In actual fact, there is no answer against a knife attack.
Yeah, but if you sum up the situation in reality, you're not going to survive. If you get cornered and someone's got a knife, it's
No.
over, skid over.
Yeah.
But let me ask you
Even
this.
even the guardian, if they draw a knife and the other guy draws a knife, both guardians go at each other. Both of them going to go to the hospital. One's going to die. Other one, if he's lucky, is only going to go to the ICU. But the blade is very dark, and you need to understand that a blade culture. If you understand what the blade can do, you're not going to disarm. You're not even going to pull a weapon. You're going to run.
Yeah,
So
like you said before, run for your life.
yeah.
If you want to get out alive, you need to run. But is there any telltale signs? Like you said, when they drop their shoulders. I mean, you showed me that video, and with your permission, obviously, I'd like to put that video into this video so
Sure.
people can get an understanding from how quick it is. I mean, if someone comes at you like that, you're not even going to see the attack coming. So you're going to have to need to get training to get that
Yeah.
sort of exposure that you know what the telltale signs are.
The best way that I would recommend is get a hold of a guardian or a pipe instructor. Let him teach you the ways of how a criminal will attack you in South Africa. That's the best way to understand how they're going to attack you. What is the telltale signs of them going into that posture and then attacking you? Because it's very fast.
Yeah,
And a lot of martial artists don't recognize and don't understand how quick it actually is. And you can bleed out in 10 seconds. It's not going to be a long fight. It's not going to be touch gloves and now we're going to fight for 5 minutes. It's going to be over in 15 seconds. And that's a long fight. So you're really in trouble when you going at it at the streets. Going to the sticks as well. We do a lot of look at Filipino martial arts, but I've actually, believe it or not, have got a Zulu teaching me, how to do stick fighting. I want to understand their way of thinking and how they've been taught to actually attack you. And
yes.
also try to get a defense on that, but yeah, in my opinion, and that's what I like about EDA Krav Maga, is we focus on South African ways of how they're going to attack you. It's South African, it's real. It's not the Israeli type of fighting. We study these types of attacks, and we try to get defenses for them. And if there's no defenses, we'll tell you the truth. But we will show you how they're going to attack you, what to look out for. And also, if you look at Jeff Cooper's color coding and stuff like that, you can actually take a long discussion. You can tell your students everything, but how are we gonna go from white, yellow, orange, red to black? What is in between? How is that gonna happen? So it's all good and well, the OODA loop and stuff like that, but it's all theory. How is it gonna happen? And with the Piper system, we show the guys this is how the South African criminal is going to attack you. What are you going to do? Your best defense is expandable baton, yes, but you have to be very, very, very quick.
Okay, so you wouldn't suggest that someone who carries a knife have a fixed blade, or because this debate keeps on popping up. What is your, you're close to it. What do you think if you're carrying a blade? What should it be? Rather a fixed blade?
Okay, so it would rather be a fixed blade instead of a folder. But again, the real killer or a Piper Guardian doesn't look at what he has available. I carry a big or Parker pen, and I can kill you with that. And the intention is the same. If I have a pen or a knife, the same thing is going into you. They're going to stab you and they're going to pull out, and that creates trauma. I can take a Parker pen and put it into your neck and just keep on stabbing because I know where to stab.
Yeah.
That's the secret. He's the guardian is going to go, or the criminal. Take away the guardians. The guardians are trained, but the criminal out there knows exactly where to stab you. He's going to go for the heart. He's going to go for the lungs. He's going to go for the kidneys, and he's going to go at the back of your neck to paralyze you. So he knows exactly where to go. He's gonna do a shimmer, and he's gonna be in, and when he's close, he's just gonna stab. So my answer would be anything. I can kill you with an ashtray. I can kill you with a Parker pen, a big pen. But if you need to have an answer on what kind of blade it should be, I would prefer a fixed blade. With a battle ring on.
Okay. Good. The last question that I want to ask you, and it's just sort of dawned on me now. I should probably have asked it earlier, but getting up close and personal with that kind of brutality, if you can say that kind of aggression. I mean, if I just look at myself and I encounter somebody like that, I don't think I'll be able to escalate my brutality to match the attackers. How do you work your mentality to get around that? Experience.
Another thing that we get taught with the blade is every time I stab you, your health is dropping. Okay, your body actually doesn't accept that stab; it goes into shock. Okay, so if you want to fight back and we had 100% both of us and I stab you, you drop at least with 20%. You're going to 80. If I stab you again, you're going to 60. So I've got the upper hand. So there is, in actual fact, no answer. You can't match it. I know, any martial artist wants to say there's something I should do, but there isn't. You haven't been matched. in a competition, we touch gloves, and once we get to that certain age where one of the fighters' health drops, they stop the fight. In the street, they won't stop the fight. They'll keep on stabbing. They'll break the blade off in your body and get hold of or get rid of the stem.
Right, Shalto, thank you very much for joining us. It was great to talk to you. Thanks for that insight. It's a wake-up call, to be really honest. And it's something to
Sorry to be blunt, but yeah, it's unfortunately the truth.
yeah, and it's real. I think that's the most important thing. You should have no misconceptions about getting involved in a knife fight.
Yeah, correct. But thank you for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you guys.
It was great talking to you, Shelton. Thanks a lot, eh? Have a
All
nice
right.
evening.
Bye-bye. You too.
Cheers.
Bye.